Hi, I'm Ashley Henderson. I'm the Director of Conservation Programs for the Alabama Soil and Water Conservation Committee. And today I wanted to tell you a little bit about our feral swine control program. Feral swine have been known to cause serious damage in Alabama, not just to crops, but also to the environment and to native habitat. So we've been working with NRCS and Wildlife Services to put together a program to help property owners in Alabama to reduce the number of feral swine on their property. This is a pilot project, so we're basically trying to learn a lot from this project, but that also means that it's in just localized areas. So the project consists of 3 different areas. One is in Henry and Houston County, the second one is in Baldwin and Escambia County, and the third one is in Sumter County. So in those 3 areas, we're working with a lot of our partners to do a couple of things. One, to trap pigs on private property, working with USDA Wildlife Services. 2, to provide traps for property owners so that they can also trap pigs and maintain the work that Wildlife Services has done. And 3 is to really educate property owners in how to trap pigs. Pigs are very smart, and we don't want to educate pigs. We actually want to trap them so that we can prevent all this damage that they do. The Feral Swine Control Program, Conservation Incentive Program, is the part that provides cost share to property owners. And basically, you can come into any of your local soil and water districts in those 5 counties. You can sign up, and they'll determine your eligibility if you're in the appropriate watersheds, and they'll determine if you are eligible for a cost share to purchase a trap. So what you're eligible for is if you have more than 100 acres, but less than 1,000 acres, you'd be eligible for 1 trap and up to $6,000. And you have to provide your receipts, and we will pay up to $6,000 or 70% of what you spend on that trap. If you have a larger tract of land, you're eligible, that's something that's over 1,000 acres, you'll be eligible for 2 traps and up to $12,000. So if you want to be involved in this program, if you think it will be a benefit to your property, contact your local soil and water district and give them a call, and they'll help you find out if you're eligible for the project. So one of the things that we did so that we could have a great opportunity to reach out to property owners in these areas is each one of the areas has a feral swine coordinator, and that person's job is really to just work with property owners to get them involved in the project, to get them on board with Wildlife Services so that Wildlife Services can come out, evaluate their property, and trap the feral swine on their property, but also to get them involved with our Cost Share Conservation Incentive Program. So we have 3 individuals that are on the ground every day looking for people to be involved with this project.
Wildlife Services is part of USDA, United States Department of Agriculture. Underneath that, we fall underneath a program called APHIS, which stands for Animal Plant and Health Inspection Service. Our main goal in life, mission, is resolving human and wildlife conflicts. Now basically, there's a Wildlife Services program in every state, and each state's got different problems with different animals. Down here in Alabama, we contend with feral pigs, beavers, pigeons, basically any kind of wildlife that's causing problems. Out west, not so much pigs, but mountain lions, wolves, and those type of critters. So we provide services with 2 different mechanisms. One's operational control. Operational control is actually us getting our fingers dirty, going out there and implementing a wildlife damage management strategy. And then technical assistance. Technical assistance is actually a service that we provide to give landowners, entities, information on how to resolve human and wildlife conflicts. So our role with this special pilot program is actually implementing the control efforts in these key core areas. Let's face it, with feral swine, one of the things that's lacking is actual manpower, and we're providing that manpower within these designated areas to control these pigs and try to eliminate the damage in these core areas. We want to see if it can be done. And again, this is a pilot project. If we can demonstrate that the control efforts are deemed worthy and successful and eliminate pigs and damage in these watersheds, future funding may be available in the future. But we've got to provide the manpower and the expertise in order to implement this strategy. So our role in these key areas, these core areas, the pilot project, we got to have landowner participation. And in order to do that, we've got to get landowners signed up. And we do this through our partners. And one of the things that we will need access or have to get access to your property is what they call a 12A, which is a private property agreement. Past that, we actually need some damage data forms to be filled out to document how much damage is there, existing damage is there, and how much are actually saving the actual farmer when control operations are implemented. So essentially, if you're in these key core areas, if you're able to contact the actual coordinator within these areas, that will get you to actually fill out this 12A. At that point, we'll contact the landowner in question, go make a site visit, see what you're up against, see what it's going to take to control pigs in your area, and then we'll start implementing control efforts. At a certain point in time, the idea of we can wave our magic wand when we start implementing control efforts and pig densities are lower in your area, basically to non-existent, and damage is non-existent, we'll enter that property into what we call maintenance program. And the maintenance program would involve us and the landowner who's going to be looking for damage, identifying damage, seeing if new things pop up, new critters pop up, new pigs pop up. At that point, we'll come back in there and mop up any of the remaining pigs. But it is actually vital for our program to be successful to have landowner participation in these key core areas. So a couple of the key items, kind of focusing back on this farm bill area and where we're going to implement these control efforts. Another thing that we're doing is actually disease sampling. And that's one thing that we want to look at in these local populations. We're testing primarily for 3 different types of diseases. One, pseudorabies, and then swine brucellosis, and then classical swine fever. One big thing that we're looking for as far as the feral swine, when we're looking at feral swine control efforts, there's several different strategies that we're looking at to try to control numbers. One is aerial gunning. We actually implemented aerial gunning activities about 3 years ago. And in certain areas, it's been very effective. Again, you need, with aerial gunning, we're not in Texas. We're not in these open, arid environments where gunning might be a very valuable tool. So the time of year and leaf out, there's several different parameters you got to look at in order for that technique to work. But when you're combating pigs, beavers, it doesn't matter who you're trying to combat, who the bad person is, the bad critter is, you oftentimes got to implement a strategy and not use one technique. In other words, with feral swine, we would implement aerial gunning techniques if it's deemed appropriate, trapping, and limited sharpshooting as well. Another aspect of our program is research. We actually conduct research. We got basically a sister program with National Wildlife Research Center that does a lot of research on feral swine and other critters. And one thing they're looking at is toxicants, and that's one thing that we're doing research on now in Alabama is toxicants as it relates to feral swine.
We're also working very hard with many partners to educate people on the damages that feral swine cause, and also the best way to trap feral swine so that we can have an effective and efficient program. So the Alabama Soil and Water is involved with NRCS. We were funded through a grant project with NRCS, and then we partner with USDA Wildlife Services to trap feral swine on private property. But we also are partnered with several other people. Auburn University is working with us to evaluate the damage, not just to crops, but also to evaluate damage to the ecosystem, to water quality, and to determine if a really intensive effort to remove feral swine in these watersheds, what kind of difference it makes to crop yields, what kind of difference it makes to water quality, and how much improvement that we'll see through this project. I guess that's one of the interesting things about it being a pilot program is it's really about learning to see if this is something that will make a significant impact on crops and on the environment. We also have partners throughout the area that are helping us with education and outreach. And those partners include the Alabama Cooperative Extension Service. They're working with us to do some online training as well as some hopefully eventually in-person training so that we can teach property owners about the proper methods of trapping feral swine. And we are also working with the Alabama Wildlife Federation, ALPHA, Alabama Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, the Alabama Association of Conservation Districts, as well as the local conservation districts in each one of these areas to, just reach out to people as well as to educate people.